Welcome back. The question is your big ego quietly ruining your dating life? Possibly, maybe. So, drop the ego? Question mark. Let me start with something that sounds counterintuitive. Most men, maybe you and myself included, don't struggle with dating because they lack confidence, but they struggle because their ego is too involved. A big ego doesn't make you strong, doesn't make you cool, it makes you fragile, it makes you weak. And in dating, fragility shows up fast. When people hear quote unquote big ego, they picture arrogance or loud behavior. I do the same thing. But that's rarely how it actually looks in real life. Most of the time, ego is quiet. It shows up as overthinking texts, replaying conversations in your head, or feeling slightly disrespected by things that really aren't that deep. You know, we get offended by things that don't matter. Why? Well, ego. For example, a woman takes a few hours to reply to a message. If your ego is running the show, your mind immediately fills in the gaps. You start telling yourself she's losing interest, or she's testing you, she's playing games. How dare she wait so long to respond to you? And you feel the urge to pull back or adjust your behavior, maybe send an additional text message, everything you can do just to regain control. But when confidence is in charge, the thought process is simple. Well, she's probably busy. She'll reply when she gets a chance to reply. And if she doesn't, well, then she doesn't. And you move on with your day. Same situation, completely different energy. And that's the real difference between ego and confidence. Ego needs control. Confidence is comfortable with uncertainty. Confidence is comfortable with not being in control in certain situations. And you see this clearly on dates. You know, you've probably been in some situations like that. Imagine you make a joke and the joke doesn't land. What happens? Well, ego will panic. You feel awkward, you try to recover, you start talking more, and you try to explain yourself. Confidence barely reacts. I mean, you notice that the joke didn't land, but that's what it is. You smile and you continue the conversation, or or you make a joke. You say something like, "Well, that didn't land it," and you keep it moving. You don't desperately need to fix the situation because you don't feel threatened by whatever the outcome may be. And the same thing happens when there's, for instance, a disagreement. Maybe she doesn't like the same movies you do, or she has a different opinion about something small that really doesn't matter at all. Ego feels the need to defend, to explain, or to win the argument, to win her over. Confidence just shrugs, laughs it off, and lets it go. Like, sure, okay, fine, fair enough. And here's the truth most men miss: women don't feel attracted to men who win arguments. They feel drawn to men who don't need to fight them. Ego also shows up when men take honesty as rejection. A woman says she's not sure what she's looking for, and your ego immediately hears, I'm not good enough. That's when frustration sets in, pressure kicks in, or the need to prove something. Confidence hears honesty and responds calmly. No convincing, no pressure, no resentment, just, okay, that's fine, fair enough. And this is where ego does the most damage. Ego creates pressure for you: pressure to perform, pressure to impress, pressure to never mess up. And that pressure doesn't stay inside your head. Women feel it immediately. They may not be able to explain it or to articulate what is going on, but they feel it when a man is trying too hard to protect, his image. And then you get a lot of pressure, and pressure kills the attraction, which is the opposite of what you want. We want a woman to be attracted to us. Real confidence looks almost boring from the outside. It's calm, it's relaxed, it's playful without trying. A confident man isn't trying to be chosen or approved of. He's simply who he is. He's curious. He's seeing whether there is a connection or not. And he's not there to figure out whether he can win someone over. If dating feels tense and exhausting or, maybe even fragile for you, it's worth asking whether you're actually lacking the confidence or whether you're just carrying too much ego into every interaction. Because confidence doesn't need armor, you're pretty much bulletproof already. It doesn't need constant validation, it doesn't need to be protected. So drop the ego and, dating will get a lot lighter. I've been there many times. You get rejected and you think, oh, there she reject me. I'm awesome. Yeah, it's not a problem in terms of confidence. I walked up to her, talked to her. So that's not the problem. But the problem is how I handle it. It's my ego getting in my way. If you drop it, conversations flow more easily. Rejection doesn't sting as much. And ironically, like I said before, and like I will say many times in the future, that's usually when things start working out for you. So, if there's one thing you take away from this, it's simple. You don't need to be impressive. You don't need to win everything. You don't need to protect anything. Let the ego go, and that's where the real confidence starts. Hope this was helpful, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye bye.